Arnold.
Let's roll.
Josh Arnold.
Bitch.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you something.
Right.
Well, Garage Logic podcast number 1582.
Oh, God.
July 22nd, 2025.
See?
What year is it?
The records are exactly the same today as they were yesterday. 105 degrees was the high in 1934, and 49 degrees was the low in 1947. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hey, if you don't like America, then you can get out.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight.
How do you get upstairs in the boathouse? How do you get upstairs in the boathouse, by the way?
Shut up, Barkhead,
Joe
Abby.
Sushi.
The wardrobe change gets me every time.
Love it. That's I'm a
That's
star.
the only guy who did.
It's
because
that
he's
shirt.
You know why? Professional.
No, it's not this one.
Listen to this.
What?
Where'd I have it?
This is jellyfish.
Listen to this.
Yes.
From Tony. Hey, dummies. Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you!
Filling up the family truckster at Fry's grocery store in Apache Junction, and three of us today have today's podcast on. Small World.
Wouldn't want to paint it.
Thank you, Stephen.
Small World wouldn't want to paint it.
Where was that, Joe?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No, Fry's is a chain.
Wait a minute.
This is from 2022.
This is from February 13th.
Jesus.
Well, Ross sent me this. Why did he do that? Ross,
Sabotage.
What are you doing?
Complete sabotage.
And he said, oh, it's 68 degrees at 2 p.m. Well, yeah, in Feb 13. Yeah, well,
Scramble!
Some people might have taken a look at the date as soon as they got it. I don't know. I'm just saying.
John,
At this point,
John,
Yeah.
the date, like the 4th or 5th line. I
I understand.
What city again, Joe?
Fry.
Apache Junction.
Apache. No, Fry's is the grocery store chain.
Apache Junction.
East.
Arizona.
Oh,
Right?
Apache Junction.
I will say this. I was in that area.
I got her.
You see it?
Good Lord Almighty.
What?
You two.
how many toothpicks on the floor?
Yeah, do you guys know when your mics are on or off, or do you not
Check,
really?
check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2.
No, I will say this, Joe. In that area, I was just there in March. We have quite a few GLers that live in that area. It's really cool.
I would imagine, particularly in the winter,
And you know what?
snowbirds.
They're playing golf
Sure.
in Feb.
Say, back to Omar Fateh.
Oh, good.
If I was the editor of the state's largest newspaper, I would call in. Do they still have Dina Winter, John?
Yes.
I'd call in the likes of Dina Winter, if not her. And I would say, look, you're relieved of everything. Your only job from this moment until the cows come home is to explain to our readers, who I believe deserve to have it explained to them, who is Omar Fateh? Why did he suddenly show up in Minnesota after a failed school board bid in Virginia? And why did he instantly acquire a succession of make-work jobs with the state? And if you find that he's a wonderful, wonderful human being who is going to bring peace to the world and cure cancer, let's print that. If you find that he's, if you find that there's some nefarious, no, that's wrong. Just find out the story. Who is he? Why did he come to Minnesota? Why did he suddenly acquire these? It sounds like the moment he got here, he was hired for and then he jumped from job to job to job. Well, tell us who he is, who might have been influential in either urging him or recruiting him to come to Minneapolis. What was his role and his wife's role in the food fraud? We already have video of him speaking at that celebratory meeting that the food fraudsters held when the Minnesota Department of Education believed, they were incorrect, but they believed they had been ordered to resume payments. And he was among the speakers in the room with Amy Bach and others celebrating the idea that the fraud could continue. That's visible for anyone to see. Who is he? Our readers, if I was the editor, our readers deserve to know the full story. We need some old-fashioned journalism here. What?
If I may interject, Joe.
Yeah.
8:49 this morning on their website.
Yeah.
Dina Winter.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Mamdani of Minneapolis, ? Omar Fateh brings the left's insurgency to the mayor's race. The story does not delve into everything that you said, but my guess is that Dina is probably on the story, shall we say.
Look at that. That's power, Joe Suchere, that you have right there.
I think I was preceded in that. I didn't know that she was online at 8:49. I just think this is certainly what newspapers can still do. It most certainly is what they used to do. I know newspapers are short of staff, but if I was the editor of the Minneapolis paper, there's a great questioning public here. Who is this guy? Why is he here? How did he so instantly get a series of, let's face it, meaningless jobs with meaningless job titles that could not be measured for achievement? Let's put it that way. Would you like me to review those?
Yeah, we have no idea who he is.
No, I know that, but I mean, I saved some documents from yesterday because I thought it was amazing that this guy landed so many jobs. He worked for the city of Minneapolis as a community specialist. He would then work for the Minnesota Department of Transportation as a project coordinator, presumably studying the impact of MnDOT projects on the environment. With what knowledge could he bring to that? I don't know. Then he worked for the Department of Revenue in the Property Tax Division. And then he went to the U of M as a business analyst. And then in 2020, he ran and won the primary race for the Minnesota Senate, representing District 62. Okay, that's all. He got involved in a lot of stuff in the very short time since he arrived in Minneapolis. Why? How? Who? What? When? Where? Why? Because the mayor of Minneapolis is a big deal. It's a major American city, unfortunately in decline, and it is my belief, however unfortunate it may be, that decline will continue with the election of a democratic socialist. Democratic socialism is, by definition, totalitarianism. In the platform is seizing the means of production. Now, we'll get to that back to that in a moment. But they're a ways away from that. They, in order to continue to fool us ridiculous Norwegians, they continue to not mention things like that. Okay. They're not mentioning. But if it came to that, just think of those words: seize the means of production. Seize is not a friendly word.
No.
Seize means taking it. That you're unwelcome to take it. You're seizing it against my will.
From the private sector.
From the private sector. And that is the end goal of the mystery.
Well, that's just straight up evil.
Well, it is, but that's the end goal of the mystery. It's never worked anywhere in the world, and yet Mysterians wish to continue to try it. Now, this guy might be, 6 mayors away from the mayor who will be in charge when the attempt is made to seize control of the means of production.
Oh, I think that's optimistic. I would go bring it down to 2 or 3.
Really?
Yeah, that's
All right. I'll go 3.
From the outside. That's
But it's
what it
not
looks
this
like.
guy, but he's a table setter for whatever's going on. I'm not even suggesting conspiratorial nightmares here. I'm saying the facts are evident.
Do you think he's being controlled?
Yes. He's a nobody. He was a nobody in Virginia. He couldn't even get a school board gig. And school boards, the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, have all fallen into the hands of activists.
Without saying it, Joe, that is a huge conspiracy theory. I hate to put a negative connotation on what you're saying.
Well, you can call it that. I'm not calling it that. I'm saying I deserve these suspicions so long as we don't know anything about them. If the editor, I think it's Hennessy, if the editor could put somebody on this story and prove me wrong, I'll be glad to say I'm wrong. But he's an avowed Democratic Socialist. Read the platform. The ultimate end goal is seizing the means of production, and then you've completed the mystery. The platform frowns on private property ownership. The platform frowns on ownership. And here comes this, I'll just call it a plant, in my estimation, a plant, who's part of that project. He's part of that mystery. And I think it's great news that Fry is fighting back.
Well, he's fighting back.
Well, he's challenging this so-called DFL endorsement and calling it BS.
Because what's his next step? Nothing.
Well, and he came here from Virginia.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. What's Virginia got to do with this? No, Fry.
But we need him to succeed here.
Well, as I said, as the mystery has taken hold, you lament the passing of the previous mayor, because the next one, the newest one, is even worse. And the next one would be fated to be much worse than Fry. Fry probably has Mysterian leanings, but he's not committed to it. Fateh is not only got
You will
Mysterian...
get off of one of those stations and visit an
That's
art
a long
store.
time ago.
Get
That
a
mayor
cup
I
of
miss.
Coffee.
Yeah,
Get
right.
something to eat in one of our fantastic restaurants. And if you're really hip, you can get off at Whiskey Junction
Sharon
or the
Sales
Joint
Belton.
or the
Boy, that
Caboose.
voice is it's like a fire alarm. What did you make of Roper's piece today? He's a columnist, of course, but he had a piece today on the mayoral race.
Is the beginning something like "Now the juices are flowing"?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I read it the other day. He's able to take this much more calmly than I'd be able to. He seems somewhat bemused by it all.
Yeah, and he seems to. I haven't made it all the way through the piece, but this paragraph caught my eye, caught me old-fashioned, but I think that scenario benefits Mayor Jacob Fry.
Mm-hmm.
This cluster F that was the convention over the weekend.
People constantly ask of us, well, what would you do about these problems you point out? Well, I'm giving you my answer, where I would start, and I consider Omar Fateh a problem. Where I would start is revealing who he is. That's my answer. The machinery to bring that about is a newspaper. It also could be a TV station. If Channel 5 wanted to call in Tom Hauser and say, look, you're not doing anything else until we get every single answer here, from the moment you get up in the morning until you're done at night, this is your job. Who is Omar Fateh and why is he here? And why was he so instantly taken care of with these meaningless employment positions?
May I ask a question?
You may.
Is he the right-wing Tom Hauser or left-wing Tom Hauser?
We don't know. Tom Hauser is just a good reporter.
Okay.
And I think the Star Tribune has some reporters that could do the same thing. But they have to be turned loose and told, don't worry about anything else. This is all you're going to do.
Who is he?
You got 6 million people in Minnesota. I know it's a Minneapolis mayoral race, but you got 6 million people in Minnesota who would like to know who this guy is. Why is he here? Why did he so instantly get husbanded by whatever mechanism is in place to husband such people? How did he get such jobs? Because you know, a mayor of a big city used to be someone who presumably knew the city, knew its history, knew its people, knew its businesses. And we've seen the great sea change in America, that the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, the people running the cities, the mayors and the city council people, are not that. They are professional activists who have done nothing else. It's a crying shame. It's another story that really hasn't been done. It's a crying shame that the school boards are loaded with people who have no earthly idea how to do a budget, and they're short every year. They have no respect for money because they don't know anything about it. And so you've got people on the school board who are budgeting hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have no idea how to do that, what that means, why it's important. None.
How do you convey that to voters, though? How do you?
The voters, to me, have been so apathetic that it's our fault. It's the voters' fault that this has happened.
There can't be a litmus test to say, can they run a budget? We know that. But they're voting on name only. They're not really looking at what their history or issues are.
How much time do I have before we got to take a break?
Before you take a break,
10, 9.
It's interesting, today's Star Tribune, the two columnists and then the letters to the editor are kind of saying, this is nothing. This wasn't a true, now I'm generalizing here, this wasn't a true endorsement. The only people that are mad about this are, well, us, people like us.
I read the letters.
Yeah, okay. So what's your reaction to that then? The letters and the two columnists?
I think that the engaged citizen in Minneapolis followed the story of that so-called convention or caucus, whatever it was, primary endorsing convention.
Correct.
And I think that they're right. They think that it's not a big problem. One letter, I think, pointed out that, Fry won, didn't he, despite not having an endorsement?
One of them made reference to something that happened in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm unfamiliar with that race.
We'll get to it here more in a moment, but it's fairly significant news because food, the Mysterians love food issues. Cub Foods is closing in St. Paul on University, where is it, University in Hamlin?
Yes.
It was in the old Walmart site because Walmart closed.
Walmart closed. Cub is now closed.
Yeah.
It's in the Midway Shopping Center.
Yeah. Anyway, Cub is going to be done.
South of there.
Okay. And then, so what do we get? You get this fellow running for Ward 4 seat, which I believe that would be in his district. Help me with his name. He said, well, this is all the more reason why we need a municipal grocery store. No.
That's not how it works.
But that's who's running for office. What we need, Carolyn Will is the only choice there, but she's not part of the machinery.
It's Cole Hansen, I believe.
Cole Hansen can he be that stupid? Because here's what he's missing.
Yes.
Cub's not closing because they want to. They're closing because of drug use and crime and pettiness and hassling in the parking lot. They're closing because of the behavior of people. How would that change with a city-run grocery store? And the answer, it would not.
I urge you again, I mentioned this last week, Mike Fredoloni mentioned this, that if these chains, if these places of business whose sole mission is to just turn a profit, if they can't make it work with every bit of infrastructure available to them, what in God's name makes the government think, hold on, we got our handled
Who owns
here?
Cub Foods?
Super Value.
Well, they got an office full of people that crunch numbers.
And grocery stores are on about a 2% profit margin.
But
so
they got people that know what they're doing when it comes to selling groceries. The city can't even make sure a light rail train runs during a major festival downtown. You're going to tell me they know how to order apples and have them there on time?
Who are they going to connect with to say, how do we run a grocery store?
Guys, street lights.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Street lights.
Yeah.
Let's tackle that one first.
Well, clearly this is Garofalo's problem.
Cole Hansen
He
says
calls the store.
he's a devoted father renting in Hamlin Midway.
Of course, they're all renters. They don't want to own a home. That's an affectation of white privilege.
He knows what our families face during tough economic times. Balancing parenting with a tight budget and a full-time job means that when he advocates families in need, he knows the real win is a happier and safer community for our kids.
The families are in need because of too much poor behavior.
Okay.
That's what causes families in need because mom now can't get to Cub. And mom's going to go to the city dump grocery store and the shelves will be empty.
Right.
The lettuce will be brown.
Oh, God almighty.
Gross.
See, I've told you that summer would be a great time to consider a new garage door because you don't want that kind of work done in the winter when you and the workers and everybody else is freezing. Plus, the fits are better in the summer. You see how it fits?
Yes, yeah.
You know, nothing's... It's
fits
hot.
Fits.
Well, Precision Doors, serving western Wisconsin, the entire metro, not only do they take care of your everyday garage door problems, but if you do need a new door, summer would be the time to do it. You can schedule a free on-site new door estimate. They have garage doors for every budget. They have models for every budget. And right now, GLers get a break. You get $100 off a single door and $200 off a double door. You can book online at Precision Door MN, that's one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call Precision Door, either to schedule a routine service appointment or schedule a new door visitation consult. Call Precision Door at 612-263-6985.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Write this down. Remember this. Teeweedertool.com. Did you hear me? Hello?
Teeweeder.
What?
Teeweedertool.com.
I think I'm going to buy
tool.
one, Ken, and I don't even have lakefront property. It just looks awesome. I want to do
so
that.
Well built and simple. It looks like a big rake. It's made of all aluminum, sourced here in the United States of these Americas, and it's got 2 rows of offset teeth, a long 4-foot handle. This Teeweeder tool is made for pulling lake weeds out, lake weeds with shallow roots, and you simply toss it out as far as you can, like this guy in the video. See that?
See, I'm afraid, though, that I'd go with the rake.
Yeah, you gotta
I'd just go flying out over the water.
That's why we'll all be standing behind you taking video.
Are you the type when you cast your fishing rod out, the rod goes out too?
Just keeps going.
Keeps going. You let that tea-weeder sink to the bottom and then tug it in. Don't pull it gently. Tug it. Give it a bunch of tugs. And you'll be pulling up all of these weeds. And I'm telling you, 20, 30 minutes, the job will probably be over. It's that effective, and it's far cheaper and way easier than other methods of removing lake weeds. It's made by a GLer for GLers, and GLers continue to testify to its excellence. You can pull a whole lot of weeds in very little time. Just we ask one thing of you, and this isn't in my ad copy. This is Kenny and Joe ad-libbing here. When you get those weeds up, either let them dry out and burn them on the beach or put them in your garden as compost. Do not try to float them away and make them somebody else's problems. Thank you. tweedertool.com is the website. That's tweedertool.com.
The 48th conviction has been completed in the Feeding Our Future mess. It's a Bill Glahn piece. He was in the courtroom, I believe, Monday. Yeah. Assad Mohamed Abshir is the 48th defendant convicted. Abshir is now 34 years old. He was defendant number 11 of 72 overall defendants. And today he entered guilty plea number 41. The sentencing guidelines call for this fellow to spend a term in prison of between 18 and 24 months. He's considered a minor player. This is a minor player. He's on the hook for $750,000.
Okay.
His estimated take. To that end, he is specifically forfeiting a bank account containing $425,000 and a GMC truck that he presumably bought with the fraud money. He admitted to running a fake food distribution site in Mankato with his brother under the auspices of the fake nonprofit Stigma Free International. Do you know how many meals they were claiming to serve?
Oh, my God.
I really can't.
Million meals a week.
What?
I wouldn't have guessed that.
And again, there's more here than we'll ever know, because you can't tell me somebody didn't look at that and at least say to their cubicle neighbor, hey, are there 1 million kids in Mankato?
That would set up a red flag for me.
His younger brother, Abdinasir Abshir, had previously pled guilty. The two brothers were linked to that alleged witness tampering issue that arose during the most recent courtroom Feeding Our Future trial earlier this year. Assad was supposed to have gone to trial next month. This is Glahn. We are rapidly running out of defendants available for that August 18 court date. In fact, we may be down to just one, Hamdi Omar, who stands accused of running Stigma Free's Waite Park site. Wouldn't that be up around St. Cloud?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was scheduled for a status conference earlier this afternoon to sort out her legal representation issues. On Thursday, July 24, Mahad Ibrahim, number 12, is scheduled to become guilty plea number 42 and conviction number 49. In a not necessarily unrelated, also center of the American experiment bit of news, in May, a bipartisan effort to establish a new state watchdog agency to crack down on fraud passed the state Senate with broad bipartisan support. It would have created a new independent agency charged with investigating state agencies and private organizations that receive taxpayer money. The measure failed in the House. The DFLers would not vote for it. Establishing an Office of Inspector General is not part of the budget framework that will set the parameters of what the legislature will pass in the looming special session. That was the words of former Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, citing the $18 million cost over 4 years at a time when lawmakers are trying to stave off a $6 billion deficit. It is a dead deal, Hortman said. The House DFL did not agree with colleagues in the Senate. Now there's a new scandal involving Medicaid. Have you read that? There's a big office building on University and Fairview in St. Paul called the Griggs Midway Building.
Yeah, very familiar.
It's full of offices, all raking in your money, and they all are running Medicaid frauds.
That one central location, convenient for the FBI.
Let's see. Last week, we, the American Experiment, learned about a new scandal surrounding a Medicaid program which provides housing assistance and another around 85 autism centers across the state. With our scandals tracker up to now $661.6 million for the period 2019 to 25, or $110.3 million annually, begrudging the $4.5 million a year it would cost to run the Office of Inspector General looks like a classic example of being penny wise and pound foolish. Minnesota has a fraud problem, and not a small one, acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota Joe Thompson said last week. For too long, organized fraud schemes like this have flourished in plain sight, draining public resources dry. The state needs to confront the scale of its fraud problem because ignoring it is no longer an option. Rook, will you do me a favor?
Go.
Sitting on top of my wastebasket is today's paper. Bring me the front section of today's paper, please. Well, it's not thrown away; it's just sitting on top of it because
I've got it here. What? Anything I can
I
help you with?
believe this Medicaid Griggs Midway building is a front page story. Let me see.
Yep, bottom
Yeah.
of the fold. Griggs Midway Building at Center of Medicaid Fraud Investigation by Allison Heidt.
Last week, the FBI searched the offices of Brilliant Mind Services, LLC, on the first floor of the Griggs Midway Building, a large, low-slung office complex dominating the corner of University and Fairview. Boy, they used to be involved in real business.
Yes, they were.
Griggs Midway back in the day. Part of the investigation into a massive scheme to defraud the Housing Stabilization Services Program. That's according to a search warrant. The building, the FBI affidavit points out, houses 22 businesses described as providing housing services that took in a combined $8 million between January 2024 and this May. They're just lined up in offices with fake names on the door, and the state keeps sending them money.
Signing right off. Okay, guys, how many million we got today?
Wait, so you want kids to starve? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, this is housing stabilization. This is another fraud. This isn't food.
It's tough
Just
to keep them all
your
together.
fraud straight.
Sorry, if you're offended.
Just a minute. Let me read something.
You know, as you're reading there, it's amazing how we always talk about the money that we've been screwed out of, but nobody seems to be asking, where is this money going? What is it funding? Is it
Going
just
to GMC truck dealerships and houses and vacation property.
Are you sure about that? Or is it something far more nefarious?
How about we ask Omar Fateh and Feeding Our Future?
You got that clip?
I do.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Is this
My name is Omar
2020?
Fateh. I'm the state senator for District 62, which is in South Minneapolis. I want to thank first all of you for sticking together, for working together, for fighting. I want to thank our organizers, Mahad, Ikram, other folks that helped lead this fight. And I want to thank also Amy and her team, Feeding Our Future, for making this first court victory a reality. So first, I want to say thank you to all of you.
That's from 2021.
This was a fight that has been going on for a long time. I've been hearing about this for several months now. And when our office first got involved...
You're going to resume, but I just want to say, the fight he's talking about is to get the state to continue paying them.
To stop. Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, continue.
All of you getting together. I remember Ikram calling us to an event here in South Minneapolis, organized by her and Amy. And at that time, we saw a couple hundred of you coming out, right? Speaking out about the stop payments, the money that was being stopped from your reimbursements. Immediately when I got there, I was extremely proud of all of you. and surprised. And I had Dawson immediately take a picture of what was going on, and we emailed it out to the governor's office saying, this is a whole lot of folks that are being affected right now. And literally within minutes, it was a Friday afternoon that happened, within minutes they emailed us back saying, let's meet Monday morning. So that was because of the power of all of you that happened. And in that meeting, we were asking what was going on, and we asked very directly, was there any evidence of fraud? Was there any concerns or suspicions? And they told us that there was zero evidence. Nothing was there.
We don't know that.
So to us, that was immoral, what was going on. And I see this most recent victory coming from not just our office, but our other electeds, from Ilhan's office and Ali that's here, from the Feeding Our Future staff, from all of you coming together, because it's not just the East African fight, just like our brother just said right now. It was affecting our black community, our Latino community, our minority kids,
Turn
our
this
working
pirate
families.
off.
But, okay, remember way back when? I know you had said, I don't believe anybody on the inside is on the take. Something to that effect. You had said that. I don't believe that.
Anybody at the Capitol.
But I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah, because
I
he
don't.
was at the Capitol.
This guy was in the hog's den. Can he help? What's the term? He was in the middle of all of this. Fraud is in the middle of fraud. His wife was implicated in this scandal, and now he's going to run for mayor and probably going to get elected.
Well, he was a senator when he gave this speech.
The immorality to Omar Fateh is the state putting a pause on funding their fraud.
If this
that
fraud
was immoral,
paused,
right? Yeah. By the way, thank you to the American Experiment, for that video, and thanks to Catherine Brandt for bringing it to my attention.
I think we played it 3 years ago.
Yeah, we did, but we should play it every day.
Every day,
to be honest.
If you idiots vote for this guy, sorry, you're getting what you deserve.
No.
That's
he's going to.
Yeah,
the people.
They don't care, Chris.
The people will vote for him because they work hard at turning out the vote for him. And boy, I was on the service road of life last night, and this thought came to me, and now I lost it. Well, let's go to Kenny's Delta Airlines baggage handler with the wife and 3 kids in a house.
Yeah, right there in South Minneapolis. Well, living across from Sibley Park.
You know, I don't think he'll vote for him. And I think then the higher you go up on the socioeconomic level, then I would think you'd start to find more people who will vote for him. Because they'll think it's kind of amusing to vote for this Somali for mayor, and they've got a $22 million place overlooking Lake Harriet. What do they care? They're rich enough to pretend they're liberal.
Is it out of guilt? Is it out of that's cute?
It's out of the belief that they're sending a signal of their virtue. Not taking into account, on account of, I'll tell you why, not taking into account that the likes of Omar Fateh hold you people in contempt.
Yep.
They're who you are who they are after.
Who calls Somalia home.
And who thinks immorality is when you, the taxpayer, stop funding their fraud. Shouldn't have to be noted, but what the left loves to insist is that the judge ruling in that case that caused MDA to pause the funding, the judge, John Guthman, did not say to MDE, you must resume the payments. He said, you must follow the rules. And at that time, people were still buying the idea that 1 million kids a week were lined up around the block in Mankato eating. There was no official judicial attack on the actual fraud. So MDE interpreted that as, well, we better keep paying them. The judge never ordered MDA to keep paying them. The judge, perhaps naively, was hoping MDE would continue to not pay them because the fraud was so blind, it was so evident right in front of their faces. But no, the MDE started writing the checks again as fast as they could. And then at that point, we lost the head of, I think it was Heather Mueller. And then who succeeded Heather?
Jody Harpstead.
Jody.
No, that's Health and Human Services. Anyway, the top players, they get in their revolving door and suffer no consequences, and they leave. This whole state is run in a crooked fashion, and it's governed by the cockwomble. And he's ultimately responsible for these heinous failures of public responsibility.
You want a palate cleanser?
And wait, let's not cleanse that palate yet, Chris. And he continues to brag about how we're feeding the kids.
Yesterday.
You got something?
Oh, God, do I ever.
Perfect timing.
Joe,
Chris.
you don't look like your dauber's down enough. Yesterday, Governor Tim Walz posted this to social media, thanking everyone for their patience that the Stone Arch Bridge is officially back and open.
Hey, everybody. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz standing here on one of the most iconic places in America, the Stone Arch Bridge over the Mississippi River at St. Anthony Falls,
Built
and the
by a
beautiful
capitalist.
skyline of the city of Minneapolis behind us. State of Minnesota, our federal partners, local parks boards, everybody invested in rehabilitating this nearly 150-year-old bridge. This will have hundreds of thousands of people walking, running, biking, enjoying themselves out here, taking engagement photos, prom pictures, and everything. This is the type of infrastructure investment that leads to the next generation having the opportunities we've all had to enjoy this great city. So for the rest of you out there, if you've not been out here to Minneapolis, I don't know what you've been doing, but now get out here, get down to the Stone Arch Bridge, spend some money in downtown Minneapolis, and enjoy what this incredible city offers.
Well, that's an event he can handle. There's really not much to it.
Sure.
Built by one of the biggest capitalists that this state has ever seen.
Built by industrialists,
James
milling
Hill.
barons, railroad tycoons.
James Hill built that. Jimmy Hill.
You know what the Stone Arch Bridge does not have?
Huh.
Traffic circles.
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the counter, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
Oh, God. Where is it?
Tornadoes.
Where is it? I had a piece about the
traffic circles.
No, the resurrection of electric bike rebates. And I'm thinking, at EcoFund, you don't need that. Everything out there is pre-terror. Here it is.
They're all going to be okay?
Go to EcoFund, Forest Lake /Columbus, Highway 97, immediately west of Interstate 35. And if you're thinking about an e-bike, sign up for the, what the hell do you call it? Sign up for the lottery, but you but you'd have to wait to do that till July 30 or August 7 or some damn thing. Just go and beat the price now.
Go.
All the Scoot Star stuff is they're the electric bike capital of the world, and the electric bikes are all pre-tariff. You will have a lot of riding. What's your problem? You have a lot of riding season left. And you get out there and you start riding.
Because on Icona, you want to know why?
On Icona, you want to know why? They got a big parking lot. This is what I've been telling people. I happen to believe this. Don't leave until you're completely happy with the fit, the height, the handlebars, the seat, everything. Get the right kind of bike for the riding you're going to enjoy, and EcoFun Motorsports will take care of you. They also have scooters and wonderful motorcycles and youth recreational equipment and Yamaha water equipment and 4x4s and side-by-sides and helmets and apparel. You've never been in such a fun store. It's EcoFun Motorsports. Highway 97 immediately west of 35, and in Burnsville on the service road of life near County Road 42, and a website that's just as fun, ecofunmotorsports.com.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
You know, approved by 8 out of 10 celebrities, including Morgan Freeman, is North American Banking Company.
I like the money.
Once you go online to their website, by the way, which is nabankco.com, it's actually a very cool website. They have a lot of different things, including, by the way, an ATM locator, Joe Souchere. So, hey, I need to get some cash. Go on their website. Find out where you can find an ATM locator. It's very cool, and that's what makes North American Banking Company different. And that's because they have one simple philosophy, and that's banking done differently. And you get that feeling anytime you walk in any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. And you can find all of that information online at nabankco.com to learn more. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're in the mood for, I don't know, maybe you're looking for a home refinance project or whatever. They're going to take care of you, and they're experts make it easy, because since 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers, where you know your banker and they know you. And while a lot has changed since then, this commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities, that has not. So your first step is checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast, Joe.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. And our news is brought to you by the aforementioned North American Banking Company. Longtime Minnesota State Senator Bruce Anderson, a Republican from Buffalo, died unexpectedly on Monday. And according to Senate Republican leader Mark Johnson, according to a new news release, Anderson's family has asked for privacy and will release a statement at a later time. Anderson began his legislative career back in 1995, representing District 19B. He later represented District 19A from 2003 to 2012. Anderson then served in the Senate representing District 29 from 2012 until his death on Monday. Before his political career, Anderson served in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War. He also served in the Minnesota Air National Guard and the U.S. Air Force Reserves. Legislative officials say that during his time in the legislature, Anderson focused on agriculture, energy, rural economic development, broadband access, and public safety. Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy said on hearing about Anderson's death, "I served with Bruce in both the House and Senate and will fondly remember him for the way he approached this work and treated his colleagues. He was a decent, kind colleague and a dedicated family man, and I feel fortunate to have known and worked with him." Republican Ruth Bittner has filed a run in House District 34B. That's the seat left vacant by the death of Melissa Hortman. All Minnesotans, she said, are still shocked at the tragedy of her death. We appreciate her service and the dedication she brought to her role in serving the state. Bittner is currently a real estate agent. She began her career as a food scientist at Land O'Lakes. She told her friends at 5 Eyewitness News she plans to have a website up by Thursday of this week, and said her top 3 priorities are common sense budgets that bring back financial stability to Minnesota, safety and security in the streets and homes, and restoration of educational excellence by supporting teachers and parents.
I'm voting for her.
Bittner joins 3 Democrats who are also vying for the seat: Erickson Say, Zepp Lee, and Christian Erickson. Lee received the DFL endorsement for the seat. Candidates have until 5 o'clock today to file for that election. A man who fired shots at the Sherburne County Government Center over the weekend had also tried to attack people in the parking lot there with a gun and a machete, according to charging documents. 51-year-old Jia Vang of Elk River faces 6 felony counts in connection with a rampage on Saturday, 3 counts of second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon, 1 count of first-degree burglary while possessing a firearm, and 1 count of possessing a dangerous weapon within a courthouse. A criminal complaint says Vang used a long gun to shoot out 2 sets of windows to get inside the government center just before 9 in the morning on Saturday. Surveillance footage shows him trying to get to the court wing of the building, but the doors are locked. He proceeded to walk down a hallway toward an area housing law enforcement and jail facilities, checking locked doors along the way. Eventually, he left through an exterior door and fired a shot at a detached maintenance building. Once outside, he walked up to a car with a woman and child inside. He bashed the car with the barrel and butt of the gun before the woman drove away. The woman told officers she believed she and her child were about to die. Afterward, Vang allegedly used a machete to slash tires of a Sherburne County van before going up to someone whose car window was partially open and swinging the machete at the driver's face. The driver also escaped by leaving the parking lot. Sherburne County Sheriff's deputies responded to the incident, got Vang to drop his gun after repeated commands. Despite the assaults and shots fired throughout the episode, very lucky, according to authorities, because nobody was injured in the entire episode. Vang remains in custody at the Sherburne County Jail.
Angel dust? What was? It sounds like angel dust. What was he on? Do you know?
I shouldn't speculate. It seemed to me he may have had some grudges against.
So he wasn't on anything?
Well, they're not going to. We don't know that.
They're not saying, yeah. And he's an older fella, so I don't know.
Oh, boy, that seems like an angel dust rampage where you don't even know what you're doing.
It happened last week. Now it's happened again. Minneapolis police looking for suspects after more cars were vandalized in the city. This time, Northeast and South Minneapolis got hit hard. More than 70 windows smashed, vehicles broken into early Monday morning. This happened last week, too, when dozens of vehicles were vandalized around the city. Ward 1 council member Elliot Payne for Northeast Minneapolis said he finds the crimes troubling. Says he's working with police and homeowners to get doorbell video to try and help catch the suspects. No arrests have been made in any of the incidents.
I have good news for you guys regarding this, because these morons on 720 to 721 broke into 40 parked vehicles in Bloomington. So consider this crime handled, because you know Chief Booker and his squad
ain't messing around.
Yeah. These guys are as good as in jail right now.
They're going to Alligator Alley.
Yep, he'll get them. They always get their guy in Bloomington.
And from the Star Tribune, the plane that crashed in western Minnesota, killing one person aboard, was a jet fighter training aircraft, according to federal regulators. That crash occurred about 5:30 Monday near Highway 23 in the Granite Falls Municipal Airport. About 10 minutes before the crash, the sheriff's office there received a report that a jet was experiencing engine trouble near the airport. The FAA said in its initial report the plane experienced engine issues, hit some power lines, and impacted terrain. First responders were dispatched, saw one person standing by the highway. That person was given medical attention, while the other person aboard was declared dead at the scene. No identities have been released. The FAA said the plane was registered out of Alpine, Wyoming. It was a privately owned Aero Vodachody L-39, a check-made aircraft used by many air forces around the world for training. The FAA is being joined by the National Transportation Safety Board in investigating the incident.
John, earlier, did we mention that you did some newspaper research on the hot temperatures? Did we already do that?
We didn't mention it. No.
We didn't mention it. What'd you find? In 1934, 2 days in a row of 105, many more records set in 1934. I bet we were losing lives, probably.
We were losing lives. In fact, across the U.S., I went to the 23rd last, and at that point there had been, I believe, up to 278 people around the U.S. who had, been impacted. The death toll the first day was 90, and here in the Lakes region they got up to, in some areas, 108, according to the paper that day. And it is a front page story that day. No relief in sight, that sort of thing. And it's a long story. It was pushed off a bit on the 23rd from the newspaper because on the 22nd, John Dillinger was shot and killed in Chicago. So that was the front page headline, but there was still a front page story on the 23rd that featured more nationalism. It was a nationwide heat wave.
A lot of people think that we lost those souls because of an absence of air conditioning. But really what it was is we didn't have any television meteorologists telling them
if you don't have that, well, how do you know where to go,
how to behave,
what to do?
Whether you could open the window or not, you know.
The fascinating part about a lot of these stories, when you have me check that, is people would just go sleep on the shores of a lake because they wanted to be cool. So they'd just grab a couple blankets, they'd stay there overnight with their family and sleep.
Like Dewdrop
Crack a
Pond,
window, air it out.
Like Dewdrop Pond at St. Kate's. Get close to the water.
My people talk about going to the North Shore to escape the heat.
I'm sure that would have been a useful thing to do. The nation's air conditioner.
Or
nature's
crack a window,
air
air it out.
Crack a window, air it out.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question, John. That previous story, the L-39 Albatross.
Yeah.
And it's a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who was conducting these flights? Was it one of our military wings, or was it private?
The only thing the sheriff's office is doing is saying what kind of plane it was. They're not saying if it was an Air Force.
Well, it sounds like a private guy bought that plane.
Yeah, it doesn't say. That's what I'm trying
Can
to
a private
get to
guy buy a fighter jet?
Yeah,
it's from Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, it's a commie jet.
Yeah, those are like on clearance.
Most Air Forces around the world use those for training.
What I'm reading about it is that it's very versatile and very reliable.
Yeah, well, not in this case.
Well, in Top Gun Maverick.
What do they do?
Those weren't Czech jets. I know. I'm sorry, John, I interrupted you with the weather
right.
there.
Why don't we take a break and hear from Mr. Freeman?
You certainly can do that. I want to tell you about Morgan Freeman's destination in Zihuatanejo. Actually, Escape With Us Vacations can give you Zihuatanejo if you want.
Can I round trip?
Yeah. You can see Red, the boat. What was his name? Red and Andy.
Andy
Andy's the other
Dufresne.
guy. Yes, they can put together a plan for you. It doesn't matter whether it's a bucket list, it might be a family destination, it might be a huge family reunion, a destination wedding. They put together a destination wedding in January for members of my family at Escape With Us Vacation. Second to none. It was a blast. We didn't have a worry in the world. So whether it's group trip, individual getaways, whatever the case may be, get in touch with Escape With Us Vacations. They are at 651-788-4338. The best way to get their number and more information about what they're specializing in is escapewithusvacations.com. Teresa and Maria, my sisters, the two owners, have decades upon decades of experience in the travel industry. And again, they'll remind you, you can go to Expedia or Kayak and book your own stuff. But if something goes wrong, a travel agent will be your best friend, and you will say, I'm so smart that I booked this way. EscapeWithUsVacations.com, 651-788-4338. Look at what's coming up around the corner on their website, EscapeWithUsVacations.com.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Here's John Heidt, the newsroom.
Sorry, I missed that part. That's my bad. In national and international news, Israel facing intensifying international condemnation for the killing of some Palestinian civilians in Gaza and attacks on humanitarian efforts. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the last lifelines keeping people alive are collapsing. An angry chorus of senior figures, among them the UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy and a senior Catholic cleric, expressed condemnation over the actions of Israel. The highest-ranking Catholic official in the Holy Land condemning Gaza's humanitarian crisis as morally unacceptable after visiting there. Latin Patriarch Pier Battista Pizzaballa said, "We have seen men holding out in the sun for hours in the hopes of a simple meal. It's morally unacceptable and unjustified," according to Pizzaballa. A senior Department of Justice official has reached out to lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted sex offender and associate of Jeffrey Epstein, about setting up a meeting with Maxwell amid a push from lawmakers for more transparency around Epstein's case. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said in a statement early today he has communicated with Maxwell's lawyer to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. Blanche said, "I anticipate meeting with Ms. Maxwell in the coming days. Until now, no administration on behalf of the department had inquired about her willingness to meet with the government, and that changes now." Blanche said his outreach was at the direction of Attorney General Pam Bondi. Bondi has faced criticism from conservatives over her handling of the documents related to Epstein. Maxwell, a longtime associate of Epstein, was convicted in 2021 on sex trafficking charges and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Earlier this year, she urged the Supreme Court to review her case. The Justice Department has pushed the court to reject that appeal. The White House is removing the Wall Street Journal from the pool of reporters covering the president's weekend trip to Scotland, according to White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. The move follows the Journal's report alleging that President Trump sent a sexually suggestive message to Jeffrey Epstein in 2003. Trump has denied the existence of the letter. Tarini Party, a White House reporter for the Wall Street Journal, had been scheduled to serve as the print pooler for the final 2 days of Trump's 4-day trip to his golf courses in Turnberry and Aberdeen, Scotland, but now will not be allowed to make the trip.
John, what do you have on Mike Johnson shutting down the House until September to block the Epstein vote?
Yeah, that was my next story.
Oh, I'm
Thanks.
sorry.
It's almost like we planned it.
Yeah, it really is.
I think
we
you
did
did.
it, though.
What do you think, Preebs?
Well, John's going to practice.
Meanwhile, Speaker Mike Johnson said he is shutting down House operations early this week, sending lawmakers home even sooner ahead of a 5-week summer recess as tensions over the Epstein case files continue to boil. Lawmakers were scheduled to leave Washington July 24th, be out through the month of August, but as Democrats and a handful of Republicans threatened to upend regular legislative operations over efforts to unseal the Epstein files, Johnson said he would be cutting the schedule short and ending with votes on July 23rd, sending everybody home for the 5 weeks.
So there's really nothing to see here.
What are you worried about?
Move along. There's just nothing. We're not going to tell you anything. But I will release the MLK files because that might keep you occupied for about 10 minutes.
Boy, it's almost, Joe, like you're looking at my newscast because my next story... The Trump administration on Monday released records of the FBI surveillance of Martin Luther King Jr.
I don't think anybody asked for this to be released, John.
Despite opposition from the slain Nobel laureate's family and the civil rights group that he led until his 1968 assassination. The digital document dump includes more than 240,000 pages of records that had been under a court-imposed seal since 1977, when the FBI first gathered the records and turned them over to the National Archives. It's long been established that then FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was intensely interested, if not obsessed, with King and others he considered radicals. FBI records released previously show how Hoover's bureau wiretapped King's telephone lines, bugged his hotel rooms, and used informants to gather information, including evidence of King's extramarital affairs. The intent, according to King's family, was not only to monitor, but to discredit, dismantle, and destroy Dr. King's reputation and the broader American civil rights movement. The family said these actions were not only an invasion of privacy, but intentional assaults on the truth, undermining the dignity and freedoms of private citizens who fought for justice, designed to neutralize those who dared to challenge the status quo. The King family said they support transparency and historical accountability, but object to any attacks to their father's legacy or attempts to weaponize it to spread falsehoods.
Next up will be the complete dump of all UFO files.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Federal judge yesterday sentenced a former Kentucky police officer to almost 3 years in prison for using excessive force during the 2020 Breonna Taylor raid, rebuffing a U.S. Department of Justice recommendation of no prison time for the defendant. Brett Hankinson fired 10 shots during the raid. Luckily didn't hit anyone, some of them going through a neighboring apartment. He's the first person sentenced to prison in a case that rocked the city of Louisville and spawned weeks of street protests over police brutality. U.S. District Judge Rebecca Grady Jennings, in sentencing Hankinson, said the idea the DOJ said for no prison time was not, her words, appropriate, and would minimize the jury's verdict from November. 49-year-old Hankinson was sentenced to 33 months in prison for the conviction of excessive use of force.
Not necessarily. Did you guys see the Jacksonville story?
Which one?
What?
The Jacksonville sheriff's arrest of a young African-American man?
I did not.
It served, I think it was a traffic stop from February, but it was just released either yesterday or early this morning. Why are these guys given badges? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
You need to watch the video because I have a feeling this is going to become a firestorm.
Was this a poorly behaved officer?
I'll say. Mm-hmm. And the guy that was there assisting him did nobody any favors by doing nothing. Anyway, I thought that, sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theodore Huxtable across all 8 seasons of The Cosby Show, died in an accidental drowning. He was 54. He was on a family vacation in Costa Rica, drowned while swimming after he was caught by a high current. He was nominated for an Emmy for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy for his performance on The Cosby Show, in which he played the only son of Bill Cosby's character, Cliff Huxtable. After The Cosby Show, a grown-up Warner played Malcolm McGee on the sitcom Malcolm and Eddie, which ran for 4 seasons. From 2011 to 2015, Warner led the BET sitcom Read Between the Lines, and he also played Sticky on FX's motorcycle drama Sons of Anarchy. From 2018 to 2023, he played A.J. Austin on The Resident. Warner also became a professional musician, playing bass. He studied at the Berklee College of Music and at the Guitar Institute in L.A. He won a Grammy Award in 2015 for Best Traditional R&B Performance. Warner was 54 years old.
I'm glad he had a great life. A lot of those child stars end up in turmoil, and sounds like he carved out a nice life for himself.
I never paid any attention to him post-Cosby, but it looks like he was still working. He was doing a lot of stuff, and yeah, he turned out well.
Is that it, John?
Well, I got more, but it's up to you, I guess.
I think that's it, John.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
That's going to do it.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
or
John.
Something.
You know what?
What?
Okay.
You look like you could use some refreshment from my friends at Hofferman Water.
It's got to be
Hofferman
clear
water.
water. It's got to be clear.
Well, it's the best. It's crystal clear water.
Okay.
And you do that, Joe. The first step.
Is it a tank of their water in your house?
No, see, here's what they do.
Special filter.
They bring.
Come on, Frank, bring it down to the basement.
We're running low. Get right in here.
Does a water truck show up?
Everybody
Yes.
took a bath this week, Frank, so you're going to
So
have to return
the
with another
Biffy
one.
guy comes on one side of the house,
Yeah.
and then the Hofferman guy comes on the other side of the house.
It's their own water.
Where's TV guy?
He's in the basement.
Okay.
Anyway,
It's a filter, isn't it?
that's right, Joe. And they come out and they're gonna give you this free water analysis. So you do that first step, and they say, Reavers, your water is terrible. Here's what we recommend. Okay, so that's the reverse osmosis water treatment system, and that helps eliminate contaminants inside your water and reducing the wear and tear on your appliances.
That would be helpful.
Which is what I had to do when I was living in Carver, because my water was so bad.
How bad was it?
It was ruining my appliances.
Oh,
that's
come
how bad.
on.
That's
Like
how bad.
the toasters?
Come on.
No, like the
What is
dishwasher
going on? I see.
and the line going to the
Toasters,
fridge and all that stuff. So I had them come out to give me that free water analysis, and they cured it, and it was great. And so when I moved to my new home, that was the first thing we did, was had them install the same water treatment system in Jordan, and it's made an amazing difference in the quality of my water. And it will do the same thing for you as well. They were there at the Rice County Fair this weekend. I stopped in and said hi to the fellas, but you got to get on that schedule and have them come out for that free water analysis. And the best way that you can do that is go to their website, which is HoffermanWater.com. And when you go to that website, you can see every single water treatment system that they have to offer, or you can also give them a call directly at 612-895-2440. Either way, get on that schedule and have them come up for that free water analysis. And when you book your appointment, please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them right here at Garage Logic, and remind yourself that Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
I
Ozzy Osbourne.
I normally don't pay attention to Palm Beach real estate prices because she's a bit out of my league. Palm Beach, Florida, where Trump has Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
I was thinking Palm Springs, but go ahead.
Same thing.
No, it's
Only-
in California.
That's a desert. This is the ocean. Palm Beach. But I was reading about this.
Okay.
A mysterious buyer is reportedly on a mission to acquire hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate for what could be America's priciest billionaire bunker. This kind of assemblage signals bigger things for South Florida, said One World Property CEO Peggy Olin. We're going to continue seeing these types of high net worth individuals just continuing to make South Florida extremely elite and a safe place for them to gather. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because who cares? But The Wall Street Journal says this unidentified buyer has spent $250 million on 4 separate properties just north of Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Now, the suspicion is, if you read further down in here, is that it's a lawyer who might work for Bill Gates. Okay.
A lawyer that might work for Bill Gates, okay.
Well, the only reason I mention this is because these are the people who pretend the oceans are rising.
Right.
But here's a guy willing to spend $250 million just so far buying up property. The ocean is right there. It's right there. If the oceans rise, he's wiped out. But that hasn't bothered Zuckerberg, who's expanding his Hawaiian property. That hasn't bothered the Obamas. They can't buy enough property on oceans. They're all full of BS. They're obviously not afraid of a rising ocean.
I went straight Kenny Olson on what I thought you were going to get to.
Which is what?
That this guy was expecting Yellowstone to blow at any moment now.
No,
Isn't that in the news?
They're just the billionaires like to live next to each other and rub elbows, which is great, except why are you doing it next to the water? You're the kind that love to get on your bandwagon and tell people that the oceans are rising.
You're always looking for the nefarious angle, aren't you?
I am.
Because, Chris, the place I went immediately is, why do all these billionaires love living among the biggest group of inbreds in the country? There is no wackier state in the lower 48. I mean, they're all a bunch of hillbillies and cousin-kissing, inbred, low chromosome.
That's why you should read Carl Hyacint's books.
Oh, God.
They're just wonderful.
Florida is a hoot, isn't it?
It is.
Alligator wrestling.
I got a
on
note.
Account of...
you want to know why?
I got a note of a lost great living American from Bill Stein up in Aiken. We lost Bill Fanamel, born and raised in Aiken. He attended the U.S. Naval Academy, married the love of his life, who happened to be an actual Hawaiian princess, transferred to the Air Force and became a fighter pilot in Vietnam. He was flying on a recon mission in 1965 when this happened. After Captain Fanamel and Lieutenant Colonel Ted Dyke's jet was hit by enemy fire, the pilots, with one engine on fire, increased the plane's altitude and headed back toward Thailand, attempting to distance themselves from the enemy. The hydraulic system failed and the second engine caught fire, forcing their abandonment from the plane. Bill gave the order for Dyke to eject and then ejected himself. Seconds later, the plane exploded and disintegrated about 25 miles northwest of Dien Bien Phu. Bill and his fellow officer parachuted onto the opposite sides of a mountain, losing visual contact. As Bill's parachute brought him close to the ground, he began oscillating in the wind, unable to control his landing, and collided into a tree limb before tumbling to the ground. The crash paralyzed Bill, crushing his L2 vertebrae, and he was in severe pain.
Oh.
He was positioned 20 feet from the edge of a high cliff, which temporarily prevented the enemy from reaching him. Despite U.S. Air Force fighter bombers flying cover overhead, the enemy fire was so severe that the first rescue helicopter was crippled and forced to return to base.
Jeez.
I remember praying to God, please let me see my wife and kids again, recalled Fanamel. I didn't want to be captured. They murdered captured pilots in very nasty ways. A short time later, a second Jolly Green Giant helicopter rescued Colonel Dyke and then reached Captain Fanamel, where the crew lowered a chicken wire stretcher and a para-rescuer to retrieve him. The para-rescuer assisted Fanamel onto the stretcher but remained on the ground while the helicopter whisked Bill away, but not before Fanamel was shot in the leg during the rescue. The enemy ground fire was so close and so intense that all personnel on the copter, including Colonel Dyke, received gunshot wounds while they were in the air.
Wow.
Fortunately, the copter made it back to safety to a mountaintop in Laos. The para-rescuer who assisted Fanamel was nearly captured by North Vietnamese, but was able to hide under a dense cover of jungle foliage. He was an amazing person, said Fanamel, willing to sacrifice his life to save mine. Although 19-year-old Robert D. Bowers from Benton Harbor, Michigan, received a Silver Star for his heroics, I always thought he should have been awarded the Medal of Honor, said Fanamel. Those two soldiers never met again. Bill was told that he would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair, but he proved them wrong. Then he went into the development business as a real estate project manager in Hawaii during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, building condos. From 1990 to 2001, he owned a fishing resort in Alaska. After selling the resort, he returned to Southeast Asia as a consultant for a residential development project, which led to a similar project in Vietnam near Da Nang. I told my employer that what they really needed was a good golf course, said Fanamel. His response was, and if you take the job, you can build it. He took the job and between 2007 and 2010 developed Montgomery Links near Da Nang and a Greg Norman course near Saigon on the Ho Tram Strip called The Bluffs, which opened in 2014. Both are described as world-class golf courses. Bill Stein wrote, I've known Bill and his family for over 50 years. He was a great friend and golfing buddy at the Poor Man's Interlaken, the Cuyuna Country Club. So I think we did lose a great living American there. His age is not included, but he had to be in his 80s, didn't he? High 80s, maybe?
87, I just
87,
looked him up.
Wow.
What an amazing story.
Wow.
Wow. This morning, I reported that 494 will be closed this weekend. And that guy, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We didn't do anything today, but the traveling Lymans came through, and I want you to post a picture that Tom Lyman sent.
Oh, the one you emailed me.
Of him having his morning coffee at their establishment in Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province. He's having his morning coffee. His laptop is open in front of him. And just outside the screen, I would call it a lanai, is a
giraffe.
A giraffe looking at him.
Okay.
I will post that to Twitter right now.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
On this day...
So wait a minute. What is it called? A lanai?
That's what I'm calling it. It's a screen porch.
Deck.
On this day...
Is it more like a...
It's a lanai in Hawaii. Patio, you're thinking?
It's a screened-in area.
It's a patio.
Yeah,
Come
whatever.
on.
Is it a pond or a pool?
Jerk.
You guys argue about
Natural
weird
spring.
Can we do this day?
Let's go.
On this day.
You're
we
talking
only
about-
did one thing.
On July 22nd?
That's right. In 1850, the steamboat Yankee proved that the Minnesota River was navigable by traveling through 300 miles upstream from Fort Snelling.
A lot of snags on that river.
On this day in Minnesota, sports
Appointment.
You better end this soon.
That's all,
You
folks.
better end this soon.
sports disappointment history.
I need to ask a question. Is traveling Lyman's all capitals? So because their official designation here in Gumption County, we
Go
capitalize
ahead.
T and L.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right.
You know what? I would have been okay if you didn't ask me that. You could have just gone and done it. It would have been fine with me.
They're going to be okay.
You could have made a personnel. You could have made an executive decision.
Got it.
On this day in sports,
Probably a reason for Chris to keep interrupting you and drawing this segment out. Although we're not going to actually say out loud what that reason might be. But, you know, Joe, me and my other
On
three
this day-
compatriots, we've got all afternoon.
On this
sit here
day-
and
You got
talk
big plans
to you,
for today?
our
On
fake
this
mayor,
day-
Joe Souchere, the fireworks commissioner
on this day
and keeper of common sense.
in 1944, we already had this, didn't we? The Millerettes announced they will play the rest of the season on the road.
I don't know who he's doing, but he's doing somebody.
On this day
July 22nd.
in 1990, The Twins lost 10-6 on 5 errors, resulting in 10 unearned runs.
Ooh, yikes.
We don't know who they were playing or where.
Kansas City.
Huh?
Wasn't it Kansas City?
Well, how do I know?
Well, because isn't that the game where the pitcher went up to complain that only 9 of the 10 runs were unearned?
I don't recall that.
Royce's told this story funny. 10 million times.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much.
Now, give us the spelling of Mpumalanga.
Yeah, is that capitalized? And when you were doing
Marloth,
that piece,
Marloth.
Okay.
Marloth Park.
Marloth Park in Mpumalanga.
Okay, capital M.
Yep.
P-U-M.
Yep.
A-L.
Yep.
Nice. Good
A-N.
job,
Yep.
G-A.
Okay.
Province.
That's capitalized.
No, it really isn't, but that's okay.
In South Africa.
That's capitalized.
That's definitely capitalized.
I was wondering if customroasting.net would send coffee out to the traveling Wymans.
I know what he's doing. I know exactly what Kenny's doing.
GLers, check out the tweet I just sent of the Lyman's photo.
Where are you going?
I got a thing.
Stick around, friend.
Hey, you know what we should do right now? We should urge people to subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Because on that YouTube channel, you can't hear any music, and the screen's going to go dark, apparently, all of a sudden. But what you can do on that YouTube channel is you can subscribe for nearly daily content and watch the show live each and every single day. And you can see full segments, video shorts, and behind-the-scenes footage. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube, in addition to all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And there's no music, so we're just going to say...
Bye, Joe.
See you later. See you later.
Joe. Bye.
I got a...
It is time once again that we check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And now is the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh. And he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice. And he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And boy, Josh, it's a loaded question, but it's a simple question today. My goodness gracious, what do we do right now?
What do we do right now? Well, the first thing we've got to do is we have to sing happy birthday to my daughter, who turns 39 today. So she's the youngest of 3, and she's the glue that holds the family together.
And she'll be 39 for the next 20 years.
She'll be 39 for the next, well, actually more than that. Just like Jack Benny, for those of you who may remember Jack Benny. He was never a day older than 39. I think his violin was older than that, and his buddy Rochester had to keep reminding him that 39 passed a long time ago, boss. But she is 39. She is the glue that holds everybody together. I do wish her a happy birthday to the girl. Meantime, sure, it's several other people's birthdays, so happy birthday to you as well on this 22nd day of July. Do prepare for a lot of volatility in the market over the next several weeks as we're in the middle of a heavy-duty earnings season. Companies so far that have reported have been, for the most part, better than expected, but guidance, and that'll be the key, guidance into upcoming tariff increases that are supposed to start a week from Friday, absent, of course, any trade deal that is ongoing or proposed between countries could have an adverse effect into August. Not to mention, of course, the market has been on a roll since the bottom in April and may be due for we'll say, consolidation with the excuse being earnings season, that guidance is not as good as people had expected. And of course, we're in that quiet period before the Fed's meeting next week. Bets are on as to whether the Fed will cut interest rates or the Fed will stand pat and continue to say we're waiting on the data. My bet right now is the Fed will have enough votes on their committee to cut interest rates 25 basis points or 0.25%. That could provide some calm, maybe a little calm in the markets and maybe a little calm in the political arena, as not only the president has been calling for Fed Chair Powell to step down, but today, we'll say, market strategist Mohammed El-Arian said that for the Fed to maintain its independence, Powell should resign now. Well, a lot of people taking pot shots at the Fed chair. I guess he's used to it. He is in a difficult spot, a spot of trying to keep inflation under control using interest rates and maintaining full employment. But we'll wait and see. But the betting from this chair is the Fed does cut in August, at the end of July at their July meeting, and then takes a data-driven approach. But we'll see with that. Meantime, Coca-Cola reported better than expected numbers, so they beat top line, bottom line. They saw volume increase 5%, which was pretty good. And they will come out with a cane sugar Coke in the fall here in the United States. Well, that's pretty darn good. The defense companies, Raytheon, RTX, and Lockheed and Northrop Grumman reported mixed results. Stocks were more down, and that's an area I'll say I watch. But the semiconductors in general did take a hit as NXP Semiconductor missed and gave what I would consider weak guidance, given the fact that they primarily deal with the automotive industry, and automotive demand has been down despite GM's report showing better numbers than had been expected. Again, I'm not focusing in on auto companies. Too many variables. I love cars, but not a place that I want to invest. Me, I am going to. Oh, and speaking of cars, tomorrow night after the close, Tesla reports their numbers, as does Google or Alphabet. And Google's report or Alphabet's report should be very interesting, and we'll cover that on Thursday.
And that's why you're the best, and that's why we always come to you for the straight talk, and we never get the sugar-coated advice, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952-925-5608. Josh, once again, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Chris.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorsement.